Day 6 of Wimbledon in the books, and we've got Djokovic going through yet again against Mpetshi Perricard. He's into the fourth round, and our number one on the women's side, Iga Swiatek, out of Wimbledon. Putinseva paid to her Wimbledon triumph this year, and Rybakina, she looks devastating right now with a breadstick and a bagel against Wozniacki. And that's it. Day 6 is complete. And what a day 6 we had. Yet again, more 5-set matches on the men's side. We had Ben Shelton. He's becoming 5-set Shelton at the moment. And it is about time we start speaking about him. And this is the episode I will start speaking about Ben Shelton, my namesake. And I think he's earned it. I mean, 3 5-set matches in a row, and he's earned himself a place in the fourth round. And he's up against none other than the world number one, Jannik Sinner, in round 4. We'll speak about that in a moment. We had, obviously, Arthur Fils. He went through in 5 against Roman Safulin. Bautista Agut in the battle of the oldies against Fabio Fognini. He went through also in 5 sets, and Holger Rune came back from 2 sets to love down to defeat Konton Alice in 5 sets. I mean, it's been one of those tournaments this year on the men's side where it's just 5-set after 5-setter, and it was another 4 5-sets today, and that makes it 34 5-set matches in a Wimbledon tournament. I mean, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. I think they're breaking records all the way across the board. There's been some great matches on the women's side as well today. Unfortunately, the men did well in the Euros. England through to the semi-finals, but Harriet Dart did not do well, and she is knocked out of the tournament to Jinyu Wang, unfortunately, in 3 sets. But let's get started on the day's action, and no better place to start than the end of the day, and that was, in fact, obviously, Novak Djokovic going through in 4 sets against Mpetshi Perricard. This one, well, they're gradually getting more difficult for Novak Djokovic. I know that everybody thinks that's an obvious thing to say, but we've seen it in Sinner's draw. It hasn't been the case. I think Novak Djokovic started a bit slowly. The movement looked like he was really minimizing the movement around the court, and he was just caught a bit cold, I think, in the first set against Popyrin. Lost the first set 6-4. Popyrin, that big serve is more prevalent in the first set. But I think this is just what Djokovic does. We've seen it time and time again at Wimbledon. The first set doesn't really mean anything against Novak. I mean, the first set is a feeler set for Djokovic, even if he's in this state and he's not 100%. He just works out your serve. We saw it with him. I think a good example of this would be when we saw him, I think it was a couple of years ago, when he was working out Van Rijthoven. Somebody who was in amazing form coming into the tournament, and it took him a set just to work him out. And then it's same with Berrettini as well, same with Kyrgios. Big servers are good on the grass, but you take a lot more to get past somebody like a Novak Djokovic, the best returner in the game. And it was to be the same sort of story here. The second set, Djokovic came alive, took the match to Mpetshi Perricard. I thought he looked pretty impressive in that second set. Didn't ever look like he was going to lose the second set or the third set. The fourth set is where Perricard came back into it a little bit. And I was really impressed by his resolve, considering he was down 2-1. He could have just faded away, Popyrin. Didn't do so. I mean, somebody we've actually just spoken to literally just before Wimbledon. So if you want to go and check out our interview with Mpetshi Perricard, we were speaking about his potential matchup with Djokovic. Go to our Patreon, sign up there. It'll help support the channel. And it's a really interesting conversation. He's a really nice guy as well, Popyrin. And really gives Djokovic a good match, I think, when he plays him. This one was a good match. And that service game at 5-5 in the fourth set, he was down love 40. I mean, not many players can turn a game around when you're down love 40 against Djokovic in that position. He turned it around, was able to get it to 6-5, but unfortunately, as soon as you go to a tie-break with Novak Djokovic, you sort of know the writing's on the wall a little bit, unless you're probably one of the other big players like a Jannik Sinner or someone else, and Djokovic won it 7-3 in the final set tie-break. Did a interesting celebration at the end with a little violin on the racket, which I quite liked. It's nice to see Djokovic always finding different ways to entertain the crowds. We got Sasha Osmo in on this tweet saying, at least in my opinion, he moved a lot better compared to the previous match and overcame an inspired Popyrin. He hasn't faced a break point in the last 3 sets. I think that's a massive factor that we have to speak about. The fact Djokovic is serving so well, it really does not bode well for the next opponent. I mean, obviously, Holger Rune. Holger always plays inspired tennis against Novak. So it's never going to be easy, this one, for Djokovic. I think Holger Rune gets into Djokovic's head when he plays him. And I don't think this is going to be any different. I think it's going to be a really close match. I think despite the fact Holger Rune got pushed all the way by Conton Alice, but I think Holger Rune turned the corner as well in his match. And the fact that Holger Rune was able to come back from 2 sets to love down is the first time ever in his career. So well done to Holger Rune. I think that this is a big building block to move forward from. And Conton Alice, really great tournament. Well played to him. The Frenchman had a fantastic Wimbledon this year. Had some really, really good wins. I mean, obviously in the last round, he defeated Karen Khachanov in 5 sets, and Chris Eubanks, last year's amazing superstar, the most winners ever at Wimbledon. But yeah, came close to defeating Holger Rune, but just goes to show real quality came through in the end. Just to talk about one more thing in the Djokovic match against Popyrin. Bit strange, really, the scoreline. It's been noted, the Tennis One app have posted Djokovic defeated Kyrgios in the 2022 Wimbledon final, and he lost the first set 6-4, won the second set 6-3, won the third set 6-4, and won the final set tiebreak, or fourth set tiebreak, 7-3. And it's the identical score that he's defeated Popyrin today, and both matches were around 185 minutes long. Both Australian opponents, both big servers. Bizarre. I don't really know what to make of it. Very strange, but well picked up on. Really good tweet, that one. Yeah, very, very strange. Let us know in the comment section. What do you make of that? Is this just a glitch in the Matrix? Is this just something that he just pulls out against Australians? I don't know. But yeah, it just goes to show how well Popyrin did, because that was in a final of Wimbledon that Kyrgios did that, and how well he was playing. And Djokovic did the exact same thing to him. But let's get back to Holger Rune. I thought Holger Rune inspired performance. That is Djokovic's next opponent. It's a really tough 4th round opponent, and I think it's the gradual trajectory of difficulty in this tournament. I think this is a really tough match for Djokovic. Obviously, if you're going to play Holger Rune on any surface where you would hope to beat him on, if you're not feeling your best, I would say grass would probably be the best one to play him on. So Djokovic has that on his side. He is gradually starting to move a bit better as well, but I don't think he's anywhere near 100% yet, Novak Djokovic. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think that's going to be a really tough match. We will bring out a predictions video to give our thoughts on that matchup and the rest of the round 4 matches as well. So make sure to stick with us, and we'll give you our prediction. Let's talk about some of the other matches. And I think that we have to go to this guy next, because we haven't really spoken about him much. I think it's partly because we probably thought that he was going to go out of this tournament, and I didn't really see him going too far at Wimbledon, but I'm really impressed. Ben Shelton, take a bow, because not many people can win back-to-back 5-set matches 3 times. I mean, he's beaten in his first round match. It was Bellucci. It wasn't an easy match. Bellucci was playing some good tennis. Lloyd Harris, who, well, had also come off a 5-setter as well in his other one. And now Shapovalov. I mean, Ben Shelton, following in his father's footsteps as well, who made the 4th round of Wimbledon 30 years ago. I mean, that's pretty incredible stuff. And like it says here, we're back, big dog. And we got Ben Shelton there. Well, speaking about his father, a big inspiration for him. And the big serve. This is the one thing that I thought would be really a big thing for Ben Shelton on the grass. And there were a lot of people saying how he's too inconsistent. But I thought the serve would be the thing that gets him out of trouble. And he's hit 153 mile-an-hour serve. I mean, this is rapid. Here are the facts. It says the fastest Wimbledon serve ever, the 9th of the fastest serve ever list, and the 5th on the fastest ATP recognised serve list. This didn't really make the headlines, but wow, yeah, I mean, the fact that he has that in his locker on a grass court, it's devastating to your opponent, because even if you find yourself with break points, someone like Ben Shelton can just remove that advantage within a second. 153 miles an hour. I mean, that is crazy pace for a serve. And such a young player as well. And I think he's still defining the technique. I think it can get faster. That's the scary thing for other people on the tour. And to speak about his father as well, we were just speaking about just then, after he won that 5-set battle to pass through the 3rd round, well, they're talking about Brian Shelton here. He won a 5-set battle, to pass through his 3rd round match at Wimbledon. That was the 29th of June, 1994. 30 years later, on the 6th of July, Ben does the same thing, a 5-set battle to go through his 3rd round match. I mean, it's a bit crazy. How do these things always seem to line up? I mean, you see them both there on the screen as well. Both got the same roar. Great to see. I mean, I know that we've had other fathers and sons out there, like with Mpetshi Perricard as well. I mean, he's definitely following in his father's footsteps. And I think the heights are higher for Ben Shelton. The fact he's doing this at such a young age, I think that there's more to come. Like he said here, he's going to be facing Jannik Sinner next. And he said, I'm happy where I've gotten so far, but definitely not satisfied. The pinnacle of tennis is playing the world #1 at Wimbledon, probably on centre court. So I'm very excited and ready to get after it. See you guys tomorrow, and let's get it again. Come on. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, it's such exciting stuff. But I'm very sad to announce that he is actually playing tomorrow. I mean, that if it doesn't get any more difficult, you've got to play a fresh Jannik Sinner, who's only played 3 sets and short sets at that against Kecmanovic. And because your match got delayed, you've now got no rest. And you're now playing Jannik Sinner at 2:30 the day after you've just played your 3rd 5-set match. It doesn't get much more difficult, I don't think. And he is a massive underdog in this match against Jannik Sinner. I think he's at 10-1. It doesn't surprise me. I think that's fair. Jannik Sinner, the heavy favourite. Ben Shelton's going to heavily rely on his serve in this match. Do I think he can do it? No, I don't. But am I impressed by what he's done so far this tournament? Yes. Being from the US, probably not used to the grass so much. I think he's improving all the time on the clay, on the grass, playing in Europe. I think bit by bit, Ben Shelton is becoming a real big contender on the tour. And I think maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, we could see his name deep in these Wimbledon draws. So well done to Ben Shelton. I look forward to the match anyway, but I think Sinner will win comfortably. Speaking of big servers, we have to touch on another one, and Giovanni Mpetshi Perricard. How does he keep doing it? Another career high ranking, number 58 this week. saying surprised everybody for not qualifying. Yeah, I mean, he didn't qualify for the main draw. Came in as a lucky loser, and he now reaches the second week. He's had a win over Korda, a win over Nishioka, and against Rusevori in 4 sets. His tennis is made for grass. I agree with Jose Morgado here. It definitely does. I had him beating Rusevori as my prediction, and I'm not that surprised. And this is why I thought Ben Shelton's game would be so well suited. The big serves always do well on the grass. We've seen it with Zverev as well. We see Medvedev. He seems to be finding his feet as well. Taylor Fritz. The big servers do well. And Mpetshi Perricard, watch out. Watch this space. I mean, the way he got through this match against Rusevori as well, I think it was pretty impressive. The third set tie-break was really where it was won and lost. It was 1 set all. He took it to go 2 sets to 1 up, and then took the fourth set, 6-4. Very impressive stuff from Mpetshi Perricard. And he gets rewarded with a match against Lorenzo Musetti. And I think out of all of the players that you could play, probably one of the more winnable ones, I'd say. I mean, Musetti did well. He came through his match against Comersana, who unfortunately leaves us. Comersana, the Argentinian who barely ever played on a grass court before this Wimbledon, but somehow in the third round. Still was a close match. A couple of tie breaks in there. Comersana took one of them, but Musetti won in 4 and continues his good run on grass. Here are all of the 4th round matches on the men's. We've got Sinner versus Shelton, Medvedev Dimitrov, Alcaraz versus Humbert. We got Tommy Paul, Bautista Agut. I mean, Tommy Paul was a really good draw in this tournament, has to be said. I mean, he'll be licking his lips. He's got a tired old Bautista Agut after a 5-setter with Fognini, and Tommy Paul should win that one. If he doesn't, then his whole team to answer to. Musetti and Mpetshi Perricard. Zverev versus Fritz. I mean, we're talking about big servers. I mean, that one, not sure if it will set the world on fire, but there'll be a few aces in that one for sure. Dimonor versus Fees is a very interesting matchup. Dimonor didn't even have to play a third round. Lucas Pouille withdrew from the competition. His box was advising him to do so, and he did actually withdraw. So he's going to be super fresh against Fee, who went to 5 with Roman Safulan. Arthur Fee having a brilliant tournament. I mean, can it continue? I think this may be one step too far, to be honest. And Djokovic versus Rune is the final one. Let's move on to the women's side. I'll have a little sip of wine before we do. Oof, beautiful. Oh, a little bit of red. And let's talk about, well, is it a big shock or isn't it a big shock? Iga Swiatek out of Wimbledon. And as Gil Gross says here, forehand, ground stroke, unforced errors. Iga, 28. And Putinseva, only 3. I mean, I thought Putinseva definitely one to watch coming into this tournament. She won Birmingham coming into the tournament, and I thought she played fantastically well today. Obviously, the first set didn't go her way, but it was still competitive. She had break points at the end of that first set, I believe. Yeah, it was 5-3 to Iga, and she had 3 break points to maybe even come back into the first set. And it was at that moment I thought, I think there's going to be a little bit of a changing of the tide in this second set. The fact that Iga struggled so much to see that first set out, and it was to be the case. I mean, she came out all guns a-blazing in the second set and took the match to Iga. Iga managed to hold her first service game, but after that, she was blitzed. 2 breaks of serve in the next 2. Put Putinseva under a bit of pressure when it was 3-1, but she managed to save 3 break points and then got through it. But Putinseva, there's just like this rawness about her on a tennis court. She really gets fired up. I know in the past she has had to use maybe, underhanded tactics to try and defeat Iga because she was just getting nowhere near beating her. So she was just trying everything under the sun, like just delaying tactics or all sorts of things, making noises or just silly little things. Today she didn't have to rely on any of that. She just played her tennis and she looked great. I mean, if you've watched any of Dalia Kasatkina's YouTube vlogs as well, I suggest go and check them out. They're very, very entertaining. She does them at every tournament. Putinseva tends to make it into quite a lot of them. She's quite a funny character as well. Definitely go check that out because I think it's a really good watch. I mean, she puts out some great content, does Dalia. So, I mean, she's no longer in the tournament, so there might be a vlog coming very, very soon. Disappointing for Iga, it has to be said. I think she'll be disappointed with this, but it's just, when is she gonna start playing some warm-up events to try and make this tournament a little bit easier for herself? Because that's where the criticism is going to lie. I mean, Iga just not good enough on the grass. And does she even care? That's the problem. I mean, she cares to a point, but when she gets to Roland Garros, she's unbeatable. She looks incredible. But Putintseva's ended her 21-match winning streak in winning here. I remember I saw some tweets saying, "Is this even an upset?" I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, do we even consider Iga to be winning it? Some people had her as favourite to win the tournament. Not for me. I didn't have her winning it. I had her going around the fourth round, not to the same opponent. But that's just the way it goes, I think, with Iga at Wimbledon. She needs to put a bit more time in on the practice courts. She needs to adapt her game. I think it's too fast for her. If she'd have met a Rybakina, she'd be goner anyway. And I think Coco Gauff looks great. Her game works so well on the grass as well. Yeah, disappointed from Iga, but well done to Putinseva. I think a really great performance from her. And I'm looking forward to seeing who she's playing in the next round. It's Ostapenko. I mean, Iga may have struggled against Ostapenko in the next round. She doesn't have a good record against her either. But Iga's out, so there's a chance for everybody else. Coco, Rybakina, they'll be the two names that everyone will be looking towards. But can Raducanu throw a cat amongst the pigeons? Or can this lady? I mean, I don't know how this happened today. Danielle Collins, still doing the damn thing, announced it's her last year on tour, and look at her go. I don't know what happened today. I mean, it was pretty crazy. She was down 4-love, and then there was a rain delay. And then, when they came back on court, she won 6 games in a row. And then never looked back. I mean, it was a close second set, but it was 6-4, 6-4, and she's reached the 4th round of Wimbledon for the very first time now. And she faces Barbora Krejcikova on Monday. Well, that's a winnable match as well, I think. I think Krejcikova's playing well. She had her opponent withdrew due to injury in her match in the third, but I still think it's a winnable match. Krejcikova probably will see it the same way too if she watched the first part of this match. But well done to Danielle Collins. Incredible stuff from her again. Rybakina, I mean, where do we go with her? I mean, she had a really tough match in the last round, and I thought, is she really up to the task? But dropping a set to Siegemann, but then she's really rallied here, and some of the best grass court tennis you'll see on the women's side this tournament. Very solid on serve. Said Wozniacki wasn't good during her service games, didn't help. But I mean, the way that she played Rybakina in this match, it's just a scary, scary prospect. Like when she serves like that, I don't think there's anyone who can beat her. She serves so well on the grass. I mean, she served 9 aces. It doesn't sound like a lot, but 81% of first serve points won today. And barely, I think she gave away 1 break point opportunity. Wasn't able to take it, Wozniacki. But a breadstick and a bagel. I mean, I'm disappointed for Wozniacki, to be honest. But let's listen to this. This is the winners to unforced errors. Wozniacki, 4 winners. 6 unforced errors. Rybakina, 36 winners and 21 unforced errors. I mean, if that doesn't signal I've arrived, I don't know what does. And she now will face Kalinskaya on Monday. That is an absolute barn burner of a match. Can't wait to see how that one goes. And we've got Ostapenko. This is an interesting one from Bastian Fucken saying, the distance covered, updated. In round 1, 788 metres covered, 660 in round 2. In round 3, 739 metres. That's a total of 2.187 kilometres into the second week, having run the equivalent of an airport runway. Extraordinary. Playing brilliant tennis and making it look really easy. I mean, she defeated Tomjanovic 6-1, 6-2, Snigir 6-3, 6-love, and now Bernarda Pera 6-1, 6-3. Is she the most informed player in this whole entire women's draw? Based upon those results, I would say yes. I mean, I look at Coco Gauff and I think she's been as impressive, but not against the same level of opponent. It's going to be a really, really tough match in the next round, that's for sure. And Collins, we got Collins Krejcikova, we got Putinseva Ostapenko, Rybakina Kalinskaya, we got Svitolina, who knocked out Jabeur, the two-time finalist, against Jinyu Wang. And the other ones playing tomorrow, we got Badoza Vekic, Paolini Keys, Lulu Sun versus Emma Raducanu, and Navarro versus Goff. And like Jose Morgado says here, one of these players will reach the semi-final. Raducanu, Sun, Badoza or Vekic. I mean, wow. That is pretty crazy. And speaking about Raducanu, because we have to touch on it briefly before we wrap up, there's been a lot going on. Raducanu pulls out of the doubles with Andy Murray. There's been a lot of stuff going on Twitter about this. And even so much that Judy Murray herself replied saying, yes, it was astonishing that she pulled out. But yikes, Judy has put her Twitter account on private. This is ugly because of all of the backlash that she has received from all of the Raducanu fans. There's been a lot out there going after Judy Murray. I mean, I'm surprised Judy Murray even came out and spoke about this or even just made a comment about it. We had Boris Becker coming out and speaking about it as well, sort of backing Andy Murray. I mean, where do we stand with this whole thing? It's becoming a bit crazy. I mean, it's just... Boris Becker said, why don't you just ask Andy or Judy how they feel about this in response to Greg Ruzetsky's post saying, more than understandable that Emma's pulled out of the mixed doubles. No need to take the risk on the wrist. The risk on the wrist. Yes, that's a bit of a tongue twister. If you ever heard one, try it at home if you haven't tried it before. But yeah, pretty crazy that they're going at it now. This is what was said. I'll pop it up on the screen for you to see. Yeah, I mean, why is he getting involved as well? Everybody's got something to say on it. I don't think it's the best look, but I sort of understand that Raducanu doesn't want to jeopardize her singles. I mean, I see it on both sides. I see it's not great. I think Murray had his farewell already after he played with his brother, which is, I think it would have been it would have been worse if they had it planned after the Raducanu doubles and then they didn't have an opportunity to do it. But I think I'm happy they did it after he played with his brother. This one, I don't think he really needed to play the second one. I think it was more of just an exhibition thing, just so that him and Raducanu were on court, sells more tickets. I feel sorry for the people who queued up in expectation of seeing Andy Murray's last ever match at Wimbledon and just got washed off as well because the rain was horrible in London today and there was a lot of interruptions. So, my thoughts on it. I understand why she's done it. Hopefully she went and did it face to face and it wasn't one of these things that was just communicated amongst teams. But will we ever find out? I don't know. Only Andy and Emma know the answer to that one. But that's a quick roundup of day 6 and all of the action that happened. Let me know your thoughts about all of the matches on day 6. Which one was your favourite? And what do you think of the Raducanu situation? Are you annoyed about it? Or do you think this is just normality when you're playing singles and doubles, just to be precautionary to make sure you go further in your singles tournament? I want to know your thoughts. And let me know your predictions for some of those 4th round matches too. And join us again tomorrow where we'll be bringing you another podcast. So, see you then.